Welcome into the Beat Sessions, your place for all things music. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about this new record from Bonnie Prince Billy entitled The Purple Bird. He released that on January 31st. I believe this is the 30th studio album for Will Oldham. I've seen that number in a couple of spots, so we're going to roll with it, and congratulations on the milestone. I think this is album number 22 for him under the moniker of Bonnie Prince Billy, and his follow-up to 2023's Keeping Secrets Will Destroy You. And I want to lead this review off by talking about the concept of the moniker, the artistic freedom that an individual can enjoy if they choose to take this avenue and to create under the guise of an alter ego. I think Will's a guy that's basically been doing it his entire career. He's got a lot of interesting things to say with regards to this concept. One thing in particular that he says, the primary purpose of the pseudonym is to allow both the audience and the performer, I'm placing emphasis on both there, both the audience and the performer, to have a relationship with the performer that is valid and unbreakable. I love that statement because I really feel like he is emphasizing the importance that the alter ego, so to speak, has more for the performer than it does for the audience. From an audience standpoint, yes, it's great to be able to watch your favorite performers get up there, dress up, put on a show, do all this. But at the end of the day, for the artist, you have this ability to, create a whole new identity, to let a different entity, so to speak, convey the message that you're trying to deliver. And I think in a lot of ways that can be more powerful. I know that the creative process, art, is very personal in and of itself. And there's plenty of artists that I know that take that route when it comes to their writing. You read their lyrics and it's almost kind of like they're just opening up their journal for you. But with a guy like Will, and honestly, I think of Father John Misty. We were just talking about The Weeknd last week and how he's trying to shed that alter ego because it's no longer serving him well. There's a number of different circumstances and situations where I feel that this can be good or bad. It's kind of like putting music out there and having it, identify with you personally, having it basically be an extension of yourself. But when you write in this way, when you develop that persona, I think it gives your music, your art, more autonomy. I think it allows for that work to speak for itself. And as a byproduct of that, you create work that is more universal. I think that in a lot of ways, people can identify with this larger than life figure that any artist can develop and present in front of their audience versus the normal everyday people that they are and that we are. And again, to each their own. I think it's fascinating when artists, choose to take this route and how long they continue to operate in this regard. But as I said, Will's a guy that even early on in his career with, all the different permutations of the Palace name. I mean, there's the Palace Brothers, Palace Music, Palace Songs. He talks about playing with different players on every single record, doing that on this new album, The Purple Bird, and how, there might be similarities to the music from project to project, but he sets out to do something different with every new album. And so having a new identity, having different players, it signals to the audience that, hey, you're about to get something a little different, and I hope you enjoy it. This new record, The Purple Bird, is definitely something a little different. This is only the second time that Will has worked with an outside producer, and David Ferguson. This is a guy that he has known for, I think, 25 years now, roughly. And so over the years, developing a friendship and now coming together to work on this project, I absolutely love it. I think that not just working in production, but featured in songwriting credits on a number of these tracks, this is a solid collaboration. A guy with a background that leans a little more towards country and folk. But, Will's a guy that, especially under the moniker of Bonnie Prince Billy, he's got a style that very much is grounded in Americana. So you're feeling folk and country and blues and just the total run of influences that have driven American popular music in the last century, and also influences from outside. there's a song like Downstream featuring John Anderson that just took me right back to Ireland. I absolutely love the character of the composition, its unique qualities, and you feel that from track to track on the Purple Bird. I really feel like all of these songs, in a marvelous way, have carved out their own identity, but also come together so well in what is a very upbeat and sort of playful experience. Talking about Father John Misty, I feel like Will, especially operating as Bonnie Prince Billy, is the type of guy that provides a really unique and refreshing perspective, insight into life, into everything that's going on in the world, and how to ultimately overcome and to persevere. It's definitely been a big message, a big theme in the last couple of weeks in the music that we've talked about. But this particular record, coming off of Keeping Secrets Will Destroy You, that is an album that I really feel it operated in a big sense of minimalism. There's almost pretty much no rhythm at all in that record, and it's dark. It's a record that really is steeped in a mood of lamentation. It really feels like there's a lot of dark subject matter that is being explored on that project, and the perspective in and of itself is one that it tends to lean more towards the darker, gloomier side of things. This new project, The Purple Bird, while exploring these themes, takes a more optimistic approach. And so I really appreciate that. I do appreciate all the fantastic musicians that are on this project. Steve Mackey, Fred Eltringham operating there with the rhythm there. Steve on bass, Fred on drums. But Russ Fowle on electric guitar, Pat McLaughlin on mandolin and acoustic guitar on a track there. You got Stuart Duncan showing up on this thing. I really enjoyed the chemistry that Will has with Britt Taylor. I think that their vocals together, the harmonies that are created there, and especially working with Adam Chafin as well. He's featured there in a number of tracks. The layers, the textures that come together with their voices are one of my favorite qualities of this record. But it's an album that it just sounds fuller. I think the instrumentation is more upbeat. It's more exciting and energized in that regard, and certainly really unique. I just think that coming off this last project, Keeping Secrets Will Destroy You, having a number of collaborators in the songwriting process versus just going solo on that. And Will's a guy that he's solo songwriting credits on a number of albums throughout his career. I just want to note too, like 30 records. That's freaking crazy. This guy pretty much, since he has started putting out music, has put out an album on average every year for the last 30 years. I mean, that is remarkable. Just a prolific output that is so consistent and so fun and engaging. And there's a number of people out there that are saying that this new record probably some of the best stuff that he has put out in quite a few years, which is saying a lot about this guy. Especially as I mentioned, when he is so consistent. But I love, teaming up with David Ferguson. You have Ronnie Bowman, who is a bluegrass composer that is working with him on Turn to Dust. Tommy Prine, John Prine's youngest son, is showing up to do a little co-writing on one of these tracks. Tonight with the Dogs I'm Sleeping. That's a fun track. And, you have John Anderson. Pat McLaughlin is helping out on Boise, Idaho, which is a track that might feature one of the prettiest melodies that Will has ever written. Like, I absolutely love Boise, Idaho, what he's doing on that track. Roger Cook, Tim O'Brien, just a really cool group of people that came together in Nashville. I keep laughing that everybody's like, Bonnie Prince Billy put out a country record. And it's like, everything that he does is pretty much steeped in country and folk and Americana. And the dude lives in Kentucky. It's not like it's that big of a deal for him to like shoot down the road to Nashville and record a project. But, talking about his career early on and talking about that revolving door that he likes to work with, I just think that what made this experience so special is getting on the road for a little bit, going south just a tiny little ways. And again, working with a different group of musicians and ultimately collaborating with a ton of individuals, especially working as much as he did with David Ferguson on this record to produce this project. I don't think I wouldn't say this is like Will Oldham's country record because, again, most of his stuff has that influence, has that sound. But I think that the upbeat nature and the more full sonic experience that you're going to receive from this album versus Keeping Secrets Will Destroy You is, certainly it's a big change coming off that last record, and it is something that does make this project very engaging, very special, and just excited to get into the track run here. Your opening track, Turn to Dust, Rolling On, is co-written by David Ferguson, Ronnie Bowman. You get this open, sparse instrumentation, wavy reverb, and the electric guitar is the most prominent as this thing opens. Organ textures with intermittent strings. Chorus just takes a rapturous turn. I love the harmonies and the great vocal hook that's working on this song. The strings in the second verse are spectacular. The solo takes a lead halfway through. Guitar and piano drive there. It's got this interesting middle eight that goes to work for a little bit, but I love the lyrics and talking about that more optimistic feel to this record. I mean, the title in and of itself, Turn to Dust, Rolling On, kind of has dark intonations there, but I love that he follows it up with that subtitle, Rolling On, because, I mean, that's what life is about. It's about persevering, and we all go through tough times. We all face our challenges, and it's all about getting past that and rolling on. He says, if you're asking my opinion, I'm just an ordinary man. Lord knows my intentions, and he knows just where I stand. Right is right, wrong is wrong, no matter what side you're standing on. I love that line. Can't we all just get along as life keeps rolling on? Rolling on and on. It won't be long till we're gone. Turn to dust, in God we trust. We're rolling on, rolling on. Read a little more of this because I just love this. I've made some bad decisions, and I still make mistakes, like all of us. When I see the things that man can do, it makes this poor heart break. A lie's a lie, a truth's a truth. It's all up to you. It's all up to me and you. Something to think upon as life keeps rolling on. Really dig that. And there's even moments in time where, like, the lyrics might even seem a little simple, maybe even a little banal for him, but it's something about the passion and the energy with which they're delivered. And again, it's his persona. I cannot help but compare him to Father John Misty, because I just feel like after all this time with the alter ego and with what he does sonically and with his lyrics, he's so insightful that he has become this larger than life, almost kind of like sort of religious figure. He really, I think of a guy like Mike Ness as far as Social Distortion, very different genre of music. But I've always joked that he's kind of like the punk prophet, so to speak. There's just a lot of people that I know that identify with him and what he stands for. And I just think that Bonnie Prince Billy is on that level as far as what he's done with that persona and how he's established it. Really impressive stuff. London May is your second track. Got this like operatic and ominous piano with slow drum beat to open. Really love the piano element on this track. The vocal takes center stage. Piano's going to give way to bass, and it just leads to this gentle swell. I love the way that the song takes a real adventurous turn. And this is a track that it doesn't feel like country at all, to be completely honest with you. There's those elements there, but this song has an identity that's very unique and just one. It's very much just like one of a kind. I love the fiddle throughout, as I mentioned, is just extremely gorgeous. Definitely a highlight on that track for me. Tonight with the Dogs, I'm Sleeping, teaming up with David on co-writing credits, Ronnie Bowman and Tommy Prine on this track. I got this playful meandering banjo and fiddle, loose beat that drives with these mid-tempo lyrics that match the music. It's got a big bluegrass drive, Americana drive, catchy melody in the hook. The song finds more of a drive at around 2 minutes with some help from a little horn arrangement there, but it's just a funny song. It's sitting at the bar with a drink or two, telephone rings, and it's who's are going to get his ass chewed tonight. Never liked sleeping out in the yard, but crawling up the stairs is too damn hard. Besides, I don't think I can make it that far. I'm sleeping with the dogs tonight. Just like a fun, kind of like good old boy track, but there's just something about Will and his personality that's inflected into the mood of this song, the overall feel of it that really gives it a boost, gives it some fun energy. Boise, Idaho is your fourth track. Love this song. It's got almost like more of a classic pop feel to it. Ambient electronic guitar, soft acoustic element. Brushes are going to drive the percussion, so really just a soft work there. Chorus features a soft accordion. And again, this melody is it's so somber but gorgeous. I really love what he's done on this song. A little pedal steel and accordion solo, and they both just steal the show when they go to work. Song swells in the coda. It really is a fine number. Getting a little co-writing credit from David and John, and from Pat McLaughlin there. The Water's Fine is your fifth song. You're getting a co-writing credit there from John Anderson. Will and Dave doing their thing on this thing. But talking about, reminds me of Monty Python's Life of Brian when they're all singing on the crosses at the end and always look on the bright side of life. This song kind of has that fun, like similar playful energy to it. Up-tempo acoustic drive, and especially I like the shift in mood coming off of Boise, Idaho, because that is kind of a heavy number. But like this picks up the mood, get a little bit of gospel flair that's driving this song. Classic country rhythm builds in with banjo and more guitar. Twangy electric lead works in, and just like a barroom piano element that makes this song just so catchy and so much fun to listen to. Frenzied piano and fiddle that fill in on this thing. He says 50 years ago or 50 years from now, got to lighten up your load, got to put it down. Go to the water and jump right in, wash away your troubles, be yourself again. There's that biblical imagery there too that I enjoy. He's spent his entire career incorporating that kind of stuff into his writing. We go down to the swimming hole where we could both finally bare our souls, swim all day in the warm sunlight, lay on our backs, watch the stars at night. Life can be so unkind, you got to leave it all behind. You got yours and I got mine. Come on in, the water's fine. Really love this track. Sometimes It's Hard to Breathe is your sixth track. Loose percussion with soft strings and guitars creates this eerie mystique in this track. Strings are more prominent in the second verse, and really just kind of a spooky feeling throughout. This is a track that it kind of stands out for feeling slightly different than most of these songs, but a very pretty number there, leading to your seventh track, New Water. That whole idea of water and rebirth and bringing life, a big part of what's going on here thematically. That track has got a big vocal backed with reverberating piano. Chorus finds form with a surprising horn element as well. I really enjoyed that. Fiddle takes hold in the second verse. Honestly, and I mentioned the horns, they really kind of give this song, it's almost kind of like Chicago should have some co-writing credits on this track. It's got a little bit of that flair that makes it really unique. Fiddle solo is short but sweet on this track. New Water, great song, is going to lead to Guns Are for Cowards, your eighth track. It's got this polka style track. Bass sounds like a horn. It's really interesting, the tone that they're getting there. Love the accordion element that's working on this track. It's upbeat, jaunty, good energy. It's going to lead into your ninth track, Downstream, featuring John Anderson. And this is got a gentle arpeggiated riff and vocal and the gospel styling. Brush-driven percussion is gorgeous and just has this lovely traditional Irish feel. Again, I love the use of that instrumentation there. Eamon Dillon on the Ilian pipes does a marvelous job on that instrument there, just with that signature sound. It just takes me back. It really reminds me of my experience over there quite a bit. Your 10th track, One of These Days, I'm going to spend the whole night with you. This is Will and David teaming up with Roger Cook. I should say John Anderson was featured on that last track, Downstream, as a songwriter. Roger Cook writing on this thing. Got this light, breezy, arpeggiated guitar, shaker, and other world percussive elements that are driving the rhythm. So I really just love that just kind of like that bit of like calypso feel. It's almost kind of like this light island feel that they're rolling with on this track, and just adding to the unique stretch of sounds that's hitting the album at this point. Is My Living in Vain is your 11th track. There's a co-writing credit to Twinkie Clark on this particular song. Otherwise, this is just Will on the penultimate number. Arpeggiated acoustic guitar with big somber vocal, bit of a pedal steel and deep accordion that's going to work in there. It's got this Neapolitan flair to it that I enjoyed. Guitar is going to work in. You get this jaunty triangle percussive element that's going to drive the song. It's pretty undulating instrumentation throughout. Is really quite lovely. This song sitting in that penultimate position, and rightfully so. And then Our Home is your final track. Will David teaming up with Tim O'Brien on this number. Jovial, upbeat track to close things out. Guitar, mandolin, and fiddle with a big gospel drive. Great refrain and melodic hook. And another track with just a mean fiddle solo. It's complemented by some hand claps to drive and build out texture. A really solid effort from Bonnie Prince Billy, aka Will Oldham. I wouldn't expect anything less from the guy. Really enjoyed this project. I'm going to give it a 7.8 out of 10, and really looking forward to throwing it into the old record shelf here behind me. We're going to vinyl please this thing. Hope you guys enjoy this record. Hope you find this review helpful as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2025, and tune in to Classic Wax on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.